you know, that big clap was not for me. It was for you.
The walk-on music was for both of us.
So I'm not going to waste my time talking, so I'm going to do straight something quickly.
Okay.
You know, I was dropping my son to school today, and I asked him, what should I ask you? In fact, he was Googling, who are you? Then he asked me, why crypto guys have so much power? You keep on telling in the media that crypto, retail, not good. How come they have so much power? Explain that.
Great opening question. Well, you know, I think young people, they just inherently get it, that this is a more fair and free and global financial system that's being built.
There you go.
So I guess I have to turn the question back to you. Why are you keep telling the media and your son that it's risky and not suitable?
Well, that's the question, because he was of this opinion that there's something they're doing okay, and this new 1% seems to like this new world. And he's saying, are you not getting something? And I think I told him, look, if you're not used to it, let us be a little more thoughtful about it. And that's the only answer I could give. But tell me about where you think this is going, where you think this real use case will come around. Because I personally get challenged when I say, what I'll do with this cryptocurrency in my wallet?
Yeah.
What should I do with that?
Yeah, well, I just want to touch on something you said a second ago. I don't think it's for the 1%.
Okay.
It's, you know, Coinbase has over 100 million verified users, right? The average demographic is 25 to 35-year-old tech-savvy person. I mean, crypto is for everybody around the world, but it's not a niche thing. It's not for the 1%. And by the way, I think, you know, the 1.7 billion people in the world who don't have access to any financial infrastructure or bank account, they can benefit from crypto the most, perhaps. So it's for everybody. It's a tool for economic freedom that can help bring people into a more fair economy where there's strong property rights and free trade and all these things. But let's get into the use cases, which is what you asked about. So, you know, we've long believed that Coinbase, crypto is going to go through these three phases. It's going to start off as purely an investment vehicle, a new asset class. Then it's going to become a new set of financial services, and then it's going to become a set of applications that are not even financial related at all. So we've seen that progression happen. One of the things Coinbase tracks internally is we say, what % of our customers are doing something other than trading with crypto? And that number is now over 50%.
Really?
It is.
Over 50% that do things other than speculation.
Yes. And not all trading is speculation, I will just say.
Explain that.
Well, people commonly will say that, you know, oh, crypto came down so much this year, and you know, what if people lost money? Well, guess what? You know, Netflix and Spotify, they came down 80%. These are, you know, regulated, approved assets that are out there. So anyway, we're in a broad macro recession. This is not a crypto-specific thing. And we believe there should be consumer protections and appropriate disclosures and centralized exchanges and custodians like Coinbase. They should be regulated. But I think it's really important to mention that, you know, in Singapore, there's currently sort of an acceptance of, okay, institutions should be able to trade this. Stable coins, those are fine. But we're a little hesitant about retail people trading this. We think it's too risky. I really disagree with that. I think that it's actually vitally important for retail customers to be able to have access to this. It's sure there should be appropriate disclosures, but this is like the beginning days of the internet. And people, yes, they want to trade, but they also want to do all these other things. They want to do peer-to-peer payments, remittance, they want to do commerce, they want to get yield on their assets, they want to do borrowing and lending, and increasingly in the future, they're going to want to do things that are not even related to financial services at all, like having a decentralized identity or artwork through NFTs and the metaverse and DeFi gaming and DAOs. So to say that Singapore wants to be a Web3 hub and then simultaneously say, we're not really going to allow retail to trade or self-hosted wallets to be available, those two things are incompatible in my mind. And I would like to see Singapore embrace retail trading and self-hosted wallets.
So you have a job to do. We have just released a public consultation on retail investors protection. So what you should do, you should take at our concerns and respond to us with a compelling argument why what we are doing can be done better.
It's actually, we've really enjoyed engaging with MAS, and these are exactly what we're going to be doing after this meeting, hopefully.
Sure, very good. Well, I think that there is, from a regulation perspective, as you saw yesterday, our managing director, Ravi Menon, he has put on the public domain his belief that Web 3.0 is a future. And we need a form of money which can transact on this ecosystem. What do you want to ensure that the money which is available on the network to transact these assets are something we can be considered as safe assets, safe currency? And as long as that is the direction, we are okay. But I think what is happening today, there's a massive exposure to the retail investor who perhaps didn't understand the risk they're taking. So give us I know I don't want to lose time. Give us a quick 3-4 top regulations which you think all of us globally as regulators should carefully look at and be thoughtful about those regulations.
Yeah. Well, for centralized exchanges and custodians, I think they should be treated just like other financial service businesses. There should be AML protections. There should be, audits that they need to complete, no commingling of funds, appropriate disclosures to customers. Everybody can pretty much agree on that, and crypto should not be treated at a disadvantage. They should be treated equally with other financial service regulation. Now, for other types of crypto usage, like self-hosted wallets, these are more similar in my mind to a web browser or something. If you're not taking possession of customer funds, then I don't believe you should be regulated as a financial service business. You might be a software business or something else. And similarly with DeFi, this is something that we need to protect. So these are decentralized protocols. Somebody could publish a smart contract and it's being used by people all over the world, but they're never taking custody of customer funds. And to somehow require the people participating in DeFi or creating these protocols to somehow require them to be treated like a financial service business will basically kill the benefit of this, and it'll turn it into a country-by-country approval process for an inherently global protocol.
So let's take this example. So today, if I would have to transact on an internet, on a banking system, I go to a bank app, and they connect through an ISP to the internet. We as a regulator don't worry about the internet protocols. All we care, the customers who went to the bank is responsible to ensure they're protecting the customer from any of the bad thing out there. Similarly, if somebody is searching Google or downloading apps from Google App Store, we expect they to be responsible to allow customers to use internet as a way to interact. In this example, you have a protocol, you have a governance. There's a system, information flow, and there's a governance part. We don't know how to choke a system who does governance. As a regulator, we need to hold somebody. It's a natural tendency to hold somebody. How?
Well, I think you should go. I don't like the choking analogy, but if you're gonna regulate someone, it should be companies like us, like centralized exchanges and custodians. Those are the access points between fiat and crypto that should be regulated. But we love the MAS, we love regulators all over the world, but you shouldn't be trying to control a global decentralized protocol, just in the same way you don't control the internet protocol.
Exactly. I agree with that. I think we don't ask the protocol layer on where banks operate, but I think we need some, when I use choking, not in bad way, on behalf of customers. If things go bad.
A friendly choke.
Yeah, friendly choke.
Yeah.
Some fines. Now, we have 10 minutes left. Give us a sense about, before you go to future, there's one compelling question I had. Many people invested in the asset, calling it as an anti-inflationary product. During crisis, this is the flight to quality. That never happened.
Yeah.
So it's a bad argument for many years, invest in cryptocurrency as a way to get over inflation challenges.
Yeah. Okay, so I have to admit, I was probably early on this. By the way, Bitcoin is just inherently deflationary. It's like provably deflationary. So it is a deflationary asset, but it's not yet the safety asset in the broader macroeconomy. I think it's the gold standard of the crypto economy, but the crypto economy is still growing to become a bigger and bigger part of the global economy. So I don't know, I think it's going to take another 5 or 10 years. People are still treating crypto as a growth stock or something, as opposed to the new gold standard in Bitcoin.
Good.
But I think that'll still happen.
Okay, now let's paint some future. Okay, I know you made some investment on future scientific research. I'm sure you have a bunch of crazy ideas, near-term ideas, future ideas. Where do you think given what you're doing today, the future is heading to? And what is your hope out there? And
Future just in terms of all science and technology?
all science and technology. This is a general question to make you look good.
Well, I don't know if it makes me look good, but
Yes,
look,
you'll make good.
I think we're living in a golden age of software innovation. Software is eating the world, fortunes are being made, tech unicorns and decacorns in many countries around the world. And I think what's really exciting about that is that people who have started to generate wealth from software are reinvesting it into hard science problems, like atoms, instead of bits. And I'm one of those people, but I'm just a small part of that broader trend. So these are things like, I think Elon kind of pioneered this actually with, he made some money from PayPal and he decided to double down on rockets and cars. A lot of people who've made money in crypto, Vitalik and others, they're interested in funding longevity research in biotech. I think that's a really interesting area. There's like fusion energy, there's VR, there's AR, carbon sequestration. My general view is that science and technology is the best way to improve the world. That is not something everybody believes. I think other people view that, you should be an activist or you should go protest outside, and I view starting companies, technology companies, whether it's the problem you're trying to fix is in education or healthcare or entertainment or the finance, you should look at technology as a way to improve the world, and capitalism is a force for good. So that's my belief, and I think that for-profit companies can do a lot of good in the world.
Good, good. The time has seemed to be slowed down, so it seems to me I have more time than what the clock shows. I'll switch something personal to you as a founder, because a lot of people out there as audience, and in fact, big part of our festival theme this year is sustainability, resilience. Your journey as a founder, just share with us, how did you get into as an entrepreneur, as a founder? You picked up this exciting space. Just share with us the journey and few top 3 insights from your life as a founder.
Well, when I was a kid...
Of course, you made a lot of money, I guess, with that journey.
I did. I don't know if that's an insight, but yeah. Well, I think it started when I was a kid in middle school and high school, and I was basically really shy and introverted, and I was really interested in computers. And so my mom worked at IBM, and we had a computer in the house, and I started to play with computers and try to learn how to program. And it was kind of like a very exciting thing for me when I started making early websites, and I'd put it out there. And I'd go to sleep at night, I'd wake up in the morning, and maybe like 300 people went to my website. I was like, wow, that's so cool. I felt like I was building something that had an impact, and people all over the world could use it, and even in some tiny way. So I kind of got addicted to that feeling, and throughout college and afterwards, I tried creating various different startup ideas. I tried creating a tutoring company in college. I tried a bunch of other ideas after college. Most of them didn't work at all. And I always loved this idea of building things with technology.
Sorry, you tried Twitter, something?
I tried creating a tutoring company.
Oh, tutoring, okay.
Yeah, not Twitter.
You would have been a different owner now.
Yeah. So anyway, basically I read the Bitcoin white paper in 2010, and I couldn't stop thinking about it for like 6 months. I had studied economics and computer science, and when I read that paper, I felt like I had this feeling like maybe this is the most important thing I've read in a long time, because it was describing this idea that maybe we could have something that's decentralized and global, kind of like the internet, but instead of for moving information around, this is for moving value around. And I had sort of felt firsthand through some of my personal experiences, like living in Argentina or starting a company, how I always felt like the global financial system was just so inefficient and broken. You could send a WhatsApp message to anyone in the world, it's free, it's instant, and then when you try to move money around the world, there's just fees and delays and local oligopolies, and there's so many barriers to innovation. And so when I saw the idea for the Bitcoin white paper, I was like, okay, I have to try building something in this space. And it really just started like that. Like nights and weekends, I started building a prototype, and I applied to Y Combinator, got accepted, and here we are 10 years later, public company, and I guess it all started from me on my laptop.
And maybe few insights on what a founder should not do or should do in a crisis like this. Markets going.
The markets, yeah. Well, okay, so I think resilience is actually a very important quality in entrepreneurship, right? this is not even like a huge deal for us. I think we've been through 4 crypto cycles, and the early stages of companies are even more touch and go. I mean, most startups fail. So I do think as a founder, you have to be relentlessly determined. You need to improvise, adapt, overcome, and you're gonna have really bad days where oh, these people quit, and this person's suing you, and like all the customers are upset at your product or whatever. And so you have to kind of power through that and ignore the haters and keep building.
When you do some yoga?
I mean, a lot of founders actually do develop this kind of morning routine to stay sane, and like I do this too, and I try to get exercise and I meditate, and because if every day, you have to go solve problems and deal with the hardest thing, and so if you don't like kind of take a moment to get your mind right in the morning, you're just gonna be stressed out all day.
So how do you have a great sleep? After all the day, you hear all the good news, bad news. How do you deal when you go back and take a rest? What is your secret?
Well, I don't always have good sleep. I mean, sometimes the job is stressful, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm like, oh, why am I don't know what to do about this, or whatever. But most of the time, the way I try to minimize my stress is, frankly, I just don't read the news.
That's the insight.
Yeah, and it's not just the news, it's...
By the way, I also don't read the news. Very recently.
Okay. And it's not just the news. I don't mean to pick on the news. I think it's also just don't read the comments online, on Twitter or Hacker News, anywhere. Don't read the comments. Turn off notifications on your phone. Don't read the news too much. It's like sugar. You can have a little bit if you know how to eat it responsibly, but don't overconsume. And then just figure out what is the most important thing you need to get done that day, and just turn off all the distractions and get that done. Move forward towards your goals.
Shall I get out of Twitter account?
Sorry?
Shall I get off the Twitter account?
I mean, I use Twitter as well. I can't. I guess I'm gonna have a little bit of a habit there. But yeah, you have to use it responsibly. So if you can't like turn it off to get work done, then yeah, maybe you need to lock your phone in one of those Faraday cages.
Thank you. Well, we have a little more than a minute left. You have got an in-principle approval to run in Singapore.
Yeah.
And
very excited to have that.
And any quick plans for Asia, Singapore, as a founder? What's your top 2-3 things you are planning to do out of Singapore?
Yeah, well, I mean, so first of all, we love Singapore. The mission of Coinbase is to be...
Love Singapore. Can you repeat again?
We love Singapore. And our mission is to increase economic freedom in the world. So Singapore is, I think in the 2022 rankings, the highest economic freedom country in the world. So in a sense, we want to see the miracle that happened here recreated in more and more countries around the world, and give that kind of opportunity to billions more people. And I think crypto is this unique innovation and invention that is going to allow economic freedom to be created in all these different countries around the world. Property rights and free trade and rule of law, and these are all things that are kind of inherently in the properties of cryptocurrency. I believe it allows anybody to store their own wealth in a way that it can't be taken from them or manipulated. So anyway, we're very passionate about that. Asia is a huge continent, and we want to make sure that we're serving customers all over the world.
So come back to Singapore FinTech Festival next year. We'll have a bigger story to talk to. Do call out regulators if you think we are not in the right direction.
Yeah.
And as a regulator, we always take feedback, but we have a responsibility to protect our customers.
Of course.
And we'll do everything to do that. But we are all open to advice. Always look forward to talk to you, and all your comments are well received. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.